Everybody knows by now that holding politicians to account is a rare sight in the United States. I mean, it's almost as rare as winning the lottery. But I want to show you guys a story here. I'm going to read to you an article from Al Jazeera that really got my attention. It wasn't from Al Jazeera that I initially saw this. I think I initially saw it from either Yahoo News or RT America, or it might even have been NBC News. I don't really remember here, but there are several articles that confirm this story, and I really thought this was amazing because it's a good example of a government holding one of its leaders accountable. And we could take a lesson from this here in the United States. Now, there may be some elements of the story that you might be like, well, they're being too lenient on or whatever, but, you know, and if I mispronounce the name of this person, I'm really sorry. I don't know Danish, so I don't know how to pronounce these names. I'm just going to go with whatever I feel is comfortable. If anybody knows better, please let me know in the comments. And please, if you like my content, click the subscribe button, hit that bell, and hit all once you hit the bell so you make sure that you're notified when all of my videos drop. And this story basically shows how the Danish, now ex-immigration minister, was held accountable for separating asylum seekers at the border. Does that sound familiar? It should. We separate immigrant families all the time at this border like it's just a night of bowling or something, right? But take a look at this. Danish ex-minister jailed for separating asylum-seeking couples. How about that? Former immigration minister has been sentenced to 60 days in prison for separating underage asylum-seeking couples. Now, the underage thing here is a little bit of a side issue, okay, depending on your perspective, because the underage limit is different in different countries. In the UK, it's 17. In Canada, it's 16. In the US, it's 18. You get the point there. But anyway, the article says here, Denmark's former immigration minister has been sentenced to 2 months in prison after a special court found her guilty of illegally separating several couples of asylum seekers where the female member was a minor. Okay. Inger Stojberg, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce her name, is found guilty of deliberate violation of the Ministerial Responsibility Act, Denmark's Court of Impeachment of the Realm said in a statement on Monday, adding that the punishment had been set at 60 days in jail. Now, you might think 60 days, before I continue, you might think 60 days is really lenient for something like this, but guess what? We're American. You know, we love harsh punishment. We love bloodshed. We love torture. We love to see people in pain. It's just, we're barbarians. What can I say? That's what we are. We got a long way to go. But anyway, back to the issue here. Stojberg was accused of violating the European Convention on Human Rights by ordering the separation of asylum-seeking couples, some of whom had children, when the female member was under the age of 18. The former minister had pleaded not guilty to in the exceptional trial that began in September. While the sentence was not suspended, those in Denmark serving less than 6 months are eligible for electronic monitoring instead, meaning Stojberg is unlikely to spend any time in prison. Electronic monitoring, now that's basically like being under house arrest. Okay, so it's like the ankle bracelet thing that some people wear when they're on probation or something. In 2016, 23 couples, most of whom had a small age difference, were separated without individual examination of their case, following instructions from the minister. They were then placed in different centers while their cases were being examined. Her decision was found to be quote-unquote unlawful because the arrangement was made without exceptions and the Immigration Service did not consider the individual cases. Stojberg had said she initiated this policy in order to protect underage girls in order to stamp out child marriage, Al Jazeera's Mohammed Jamjoom, I'm guessing that's how you say that, reporting from Copenhagen, Denmark said. All right, so it sounds like she was separating these families based on her personal ideology. You know, because she definitely sounds like a conservative. Let's get that out of the way right now. I really do believe this woman was a conservative. And this is separating because of age and marriage. I mean, this sounds almost like somebody who could lean on the side of QAnon, you know, with like the sex pedophiles and the baby blood drinkers. I don't know if she's that far out there, but But this does definitely seem like she was doing this because of an ideology. Not so unlike the United States, you know, where our government sends people back because, you disgusting brown poop people, you. And let's face it, man, if you want to know the mind of a racist, all you got to do is look at the toilet next time you do your business, and you will know the mind of a racist. It's a projection of themselves, not what the other person that they're judging is all about, of course. But this is a very cruel and inhumane thing to do to people who are seeking asylum. Because when they're seeking asylum, they're trying to get away from something that's really dramatic and negatively affecting their life, to the point where they have to leave, right? Where they feel like they got no other choice. Otherwise, they probably stay. And this goes to show you that we, the United States, and other countries who have kind of invaded that area to plunder their resources and exploit their labor force wherever they can, that shouldn't be happening. We need to be engaging in a more cooperative model internationally, not trying to be Vikings going around the world stomping and dominating and killing and trying to impose our will on everybody just to get what we want. We don't have to do that. And what this person did was very cruel. It was inhumane. It wasn't necessary. But also, you know, I honestly don't know Denmark's situation with regards to what their capacity is, who they're able to support and all that. But even so, you've got to be really humane about things like this. And when they do come, you have to treat them as if they were one of your own. Treat them with respect. Treat them with dignity. Don't do this crap. Don't separate them just because you don't like them or because you hold an ideological difference to them, whatever the case is. And if we are going to fix immigration in any meaningful way, the first thing we got to do is change our foreign policy. We got to stop treating these people as if they were just tools in a toolbox or cogs in a capitalist machine that the owner class can do with as they pleases. We've got to change the system. Capitalism is a huge part of why this is happening. And you don't believe me, look at our southern border. Look what's going on in South America. I mean, hell, the UK, when they started invading all the countries like India and Bangladesh and all these other places, they started seeing waves of immigrants from those countries. That's why. Because that's what they did. They went in there, they plundered their goods, you know, exploited their labor force, and took all the goods up to their country, which meant the people who were out of work had to follow the goods to get employment, and that meant going to the United Kingdom. Likewise, the United States. When we take goods from South America, and we send in regimes to basically give us prime access to their resources and suppress their people, the resources come here, the people have to come here too to get jobs. That's just how it works. So capitalism has to be done away with. That goes without saying here. And people like this, who separate families for ideological reasons, they do not need to be anywhere near a position of power. I mean, that goes without saying. Do not put people in positions of power who hold an ideological grudge against certain people for whatever reason. They need to be humane. They have to be compassionate. They got to care about human life, and they have to be ready to accept these people and to treat them as they themselves would wish to be treated. And also, as I was saying at the very beginning, this is a rare instance where we see someone in a high position of authority is actually being held accountable. Say what you will about the prison sentence or the electronic ankle bracelet, whatever ends up happening with her. But there is accountability here. That's the point. Okay? Because this government is actually considering expelling her from Parliament for her actions. I believe they should. Nobody who treats people this way should be in any position of government. So I think we can take a lesson from this here in the United States. We seriously need to change our whole system, our whole incentive structure. We need to make it so that when our officials get out of line like this, they are held accountable no matter what. Because treating people this way is a crime. It really is. And I'm really glad that this Inger Stojberg or Stojberg, I honestly don't know the pronunciation. I'll just say Stojberg. I really think that this should serve as a warning. I hope it does to other leaders who would think about treating immigrants as if they were, you know, a pile of dog shit that they just stepped in the middle of the street. It's not okay. It's not cool. It's not virtuous or patriotic or anything like that. It's cruel. It's unjust. It's unfair. It's inhumane. And it should not be done just because you don't like somebody or ideologically disagree with them.